So many people fantasize about owning a source of passive income, but then they take a look at their bank account and quickly realize, yeah, this isn't happening anytime soon. But thankfully, we're living in a time when buying an asset isn't the only option. And I know that to be true because I've experienced firsthand making money while I sleep, and I'm a normal guy, just like you. So in this video, we'll talk about how you can own your first passive income asset, even if you don't have a lot of money. Before we begin, we need to preface this video by addressing a common misunderstanding about passive income. Passive income doesn't exist, and the explanation to this is quite simple. There is only one way to get paid, actively or passively, and that is by giving value. To get paid, somebody needs to pay you, but they're not going to just give you the money. They need to get something in return, and that is the value that you're bringing to the table, whatever it may be. If your idea of passive income is money flowing in while you do nothing ever, then you are in the fantasy realm indeed. If you offer nothing, then you give no value. And as the rule goes, if you give no value, you don't get paid. So forget about the idea of lazy money. The market is too efficient for such a thing to even exist. Passive income always requires upfront work, and it is never passive in the beginning. So with that said, let's go straight to work. Having spent dozens of hours gaining financial education, I learned that I needed two things. One, a position of leverage. Leverage is the use of tools to multiply the results or the outcome of an action. Because I had very little time on my hands, and you may be able to relate to that, I had to take the 60 minutes a day I had and invest it in something that can scale. And two, the income had to be independent from my time eventually. As we clarified earlier, there is no passive income without upfront work. But I needed to know that I'm investing in something that could operate without me at some point. If it requires my presence and my time, it's called a job. So here is the exact learning and thought process I went through as I was educating myself. Forget rich versus poor, white collar versus blue. It's now leveraged versus unleveraged. Okay, I need leverage, but I cannot afford any. What do I do next? Code and media are permissionless leverage. They are the leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. Code and media are the two forms of leverage on the internet. I don't need capital because thankfully they're both free. An army of robots is freely available. It is just packed in data centers for heat and space efficiency. Use it. Okay, the internet it is. If I cannot buy brick and mortar real estate, I would have to build digital real estate. What else can I find about digital leverage? If you are reading this, you're likely no stranger to the concept of leverage in its digital context, using technology to amplify your effort. That's a definition of leverage I learned before. Code, media, brand, capital. All forms of leverage that, if deployed with good judgment, can keep working after you stop working. So who wouldn't want leverage? The desire to get more for less is universal. So why doesn't everyone have leverage? Because the first part of the statement is harder to come by, finding or building a firm place to stand. Thankfully, I wasn't avoiding the hard work. There is no such thing as passive income without work. If I don't have capital, building leverage is pretty much the only option I have, and I'm going to build it online for free. If you can't code, write books and blogs, record videos, and podcasts. Knowledge is power only when you use it and do something about it. That's when I started taking YouTube seriously. Last year, I got my YouTube channel monetized. I got a taste of building something that works for me. Every morning, I woke up a little bit richer. When I got my first payment from AdSense, I went to the shop to try it out. And guess what? It worked. It was as real as getting paid after working 9 hours every day. It took me a long time learning the necessary skills to make decent videos. I started from absolutely nothing. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to set up the camera. I didn't even own a camera at the time. I spent hundreds of hours, but I'm also the type that tends to take too many notes. It doesn't have to take that long before you can get started. Building an online business requires building an email list, maybe selling digital products. Getting monetized is usually just the beginning. With that said, and because the potential of every video goes beyond ad revenue, I see every video I made and make as a piece of digital real estate, like an apartment. Some people have multiple properties generating income from rent, and for creators, every piece of video is like an apartment that is working for you and without you. It's working hard to bring ad revenue, generating sales, and the rest. As I said, getting monetized is not the end, but digital real estate is truer than ever. If it ever crossed your mind using the internet to generate income, I can reassure you it is real and it is possible. And lastly, if you're dreading the amount of work it requires, here is something for you to chew on. There was this lady, she was 37 years old, and she told her friends and family that she's going to study to become a lawyer. And everybody said, a lawyer at your age? You'll be past 40 when you're done. And she said, yeah, but at least that way I'll be 40 and a lawyer. I made a similar commitment to myself and to my family. Even if it takes me 10 years to figure this thing out and to make enough money, I'm going to be 10 years older anyway. But at least that way, I have a shot at being financially free.